Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to askNK. Today we have some very interesting updates coming from the folks at Unity 3D. Unity 3D, the company that creates amazing tools that you can use to develop pretty cool games. Yep, they have bought Weta Digital for $1.625 billion, and that is huge, it is crazy, and it comes with a lot of pretty interesting things. So for those who have no idea, Weta Digital is a VFX company owned by Peter Jackson based in New Zealand that makes stunning visuals, VFX tools, and they have contributed to a whole lot of movies. And movies include Avatar, Black Widow, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Planet of the Apes, The Hobbit, The Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Umbrella Academy. The list goes on and on and on. And despite the fact that they have been part of award-winning shows, they have also continually created amazing technology and they've pushed the bounds of so many things. So today we are getting some very interesting news that Unity have purchased this company, and what they actually purchased is the Weta Digital's VFX technological division and not the entire company. And it is crazy because if you actually go over to the blog, you'll see that it specifically mentioned that what they've gotten is the artist tool, the core pipeline intellectual property, and award-winning engineering talent. So it means all the engineers and developers that are working within the technological side of things have been ported over to Unity. And we're talking about 275 engineers who will be joining the Unity's Create Solution division. And all of this is pushing forward for huge VFX tools to come over to Unity for what we all know as Metaverse. So you might be asking, what about Weta M? Sometime this year we heard about Weta M, we heard about Weta H. What is going on? And everything looks fine. I kind of think that this is a win-win situation for everybody. So if you're working with Unity Engine, if you're working in a studio that deals with Unity, it simply means that lots of things will be coming to you guys. And these things include technologies the folks at Weta have created over time. And it is quite interesting. And for sure, before we start talking about lots of the things that you guys will be getting, let's also talk about some things that Weta has developed before. So Weta has actually developed lots of things that includes Modbox, and I think most guys have no idea that Modbox actually came from Weta. So Modbox, that is currently owned by Autodesk, was a Weta tool that they created for digital sculpting and they used it a lot. Massive is also another pretty interesting tool for crowd simulation that was made by Weta Digital, and a tool that is also currently owned by Foundry known as Mari for texturing was also created by Weta. And for sure, if you're also saying, all right, so what more have they made? They've made a whole lot of things. So if you go over to the technological side and, the technology and research, you would see lots of things. The facets, we saw these teased for Weta M. The Manuka, which is a pretty cool renderer. Addon is one of the tools that they've made. Lots of simulation and stuff. We do have tissue, we have the wig, virtual production, deep composition, physically based shading, which is very, very nice, spherical harmonics. Lumberjack is also something that will be coming to both Weta M and Weta H. There's also talk about CityBot, and this does have a new name right now, which you would see as we proceed, and Mari, like we mentioned. So lots of things, all right? Lots of interesting, crazy updates and crazy technology that they've made. And so if you're working with Unity, you will be able to have access to some of these tools. And the tools that we're looking at include Manuka, which we just saw right now, which has to do with the path tracing renderer. Pretty interesting stuff. Gazebo, an interactive renderer. So this will be useful when you're trying to do your look dev directly on your viewport, trying to make sure that you have the lighting, the colors, the texture. These will be very interesting for pre-visualization and also for virtual production workflows. Awesome. Loki was also teased for Meta M and also Weta H. And this is one pretty interesting tool for physics simulation that deals with water, fire, smoke, lots of interesting things. The physical based workflow is also pretty nice, and it's very interesting to see that these tools are also going to be coming. So we have the physical light, the physical camera, and HDRI convert. These will be coming, and this makes sense because at this point, artists can actually create spherical based lighting and accurately replace effects of different lenses, sensors, and other parts of the pipeline, resulting in a physically accurate rendering workflow for both, we said it, Gazebo and Manuka. So we'll be getting this tool. And for animation, Koru will be coming as well. We did see that this was teased for Weta M. And the facial technology, which we saw that Facet is coming, Barbershop is replacing Wig. All right. So Barbershop is the new tool that will be coming to Unity users, and it's actually used for making hairs and stuff like this. really nice. You probably saw these guys, you know, some of the dwarfs in Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. You can see this is the tool that was used to create those amazing, stunning hair. And these are things that will be coming. So tissue is also going to be coming. Aptaxy seems to be coming. This is a procedural tool for those who like to make things like feathers and groom stuff. This is a really, really cool tool. So there's also the world building, and I guess this is replacing the city bot for creating procedural worlds and creating large scale worlds. All right. So this is also a tool that will be coming. Lumberjack, lovely tool for creating vegetations, is also one. So we did see this as it was also teased as tools that will be coming to Maya. You can actually see it within the Maya user interface right here. And this is pretty wild. This would replace most of your tools. I mean, if your Maya user and Lumberjack shows up, you probably might not use Speed Tree anymore, but we'll get to that in a bit. And we also have the Totara, which is a procedural biomes and vegetation tool that would be working, and they're looking at ways that these would work alongside with all of these tools as it integrates with Lumberjack as well. They have Eddy for liquid simulation, production, review, live viewing, you know, all these lovely things are coming. So all of them will be shipping over to Unity users. But then it makes sense to actually talk about how you guys will be getting it, because just like Weta M, also Weta H for Houdini, you would be getting access to these based off SaaS, software as a service, and that is how Unity users will be getting their hands on these. So it looks like Weta, or should I say it looks like Unity right now, will be porting most of these tools to the cloud. So you need to have a cloud subscription to have all of this. And for those who will be asking about, you know, what happens to Weta M or Weta H, what happens now is, since Unity owns rights to the core pipeline intellectual property and, you know, to the artists creating these things, managing it, making sure that everything runs according to plan, it means that this would continue. Actually, it would continue regardless, because at this point, going all the way down, you can also see that they're specifying right here that our intent is to cloud enable these tools and ensure the easy integration with the workflow artists already used. And right down here, you can see they're looking at ways that this would integrate and they can take advantage of the capabilities of Maya and Houdini, which is bringing us back to Weta M and Weta H. Meanwhile, we already know that Maya and Houdini do have a very wonderful handshake with both Unreal Engine and Unity, as you can actually send your digital assets from Houdini over to Unity, and at the same time, you can send your files directly from Maya over to Unity. And this looks, it looks really, really interesting. And of course, for those who will be asking, what about the speed tree that was purchased by the folks at Unity before? What happens to it? What also happens to automatics and these other tools that was bought before? These tools are here, and they're looking at ways of linking them together. And want to read more about Unity, or maybe you like to read more about the folks at Weta Digital, you can also come through and check out these things and see all this stuff for yourself. Meanwhile, there is actually little change that did happen sometime, and it is when this tool was purchased, there was a tiny change within the stock market. So if we simply go over to the market watch where we actually see stuff and just go over to the stock market, you can see that there was a dip, and the dip actually started off very early in the morning. So this was when the announcement came through and the stocks went plunging down. And right now, the stocks are getting to that point where anyone could say all-time high, because if we go all the way down to 1 month ago, this was what the stock was. Right now, this is where it is, okay? Plunge this all the way down like forever. There is only one time that this looks pretty cool, all right? So if we go all the way down from here, all the way to this point, you can see what we have going on. So I think lots of people will jump into this, owing to the fact that more and more studios would actually want to explore, especially if they're already using Unity to create some stuff. You know, the idea that probably virtual production is coming, they will be having access to high quality tools that they can use to create stunning visuals. Like, you can't even imagine, like, to see that it is coming to Unity will definitely make lots of studios continue using it, and that in turn would encourage people to buy more stock. And also respect the fact that more and more artists would sort of complain that this is going to be software as a service, it's going to be online and stuff like that. Yes, it will be, and I guess almost everyone is sort of doing that. Most companies are beginning to create these sort of products that is now online. Unreal Engine has done it. There's also a couple of other companies that have done the same thing. and they're kind of moving things to the cloud so that the service stays there. I think Blender also made a mention of having a meta that deals with having a cloud service as well. And everyone seems to be creating this metaverse where there is a cloud service, a cloud either subscription service. You know, there's just something about something not being on your desktop. It has to be somewhere. You have to be connected to the internet to use it. And I think that is the way forward right now, as everyone seems to be looking forward to that. Actually, right here, you would also see that they made mention that the technology for the metaverse, and they actually made a very clear statement here that to our creators now and in the future, we believe we are just at the beginning of an enormous need to reach interactive, compelling 3D content in games, movies, and so on. So this is nice. And they are not just looking at creating this. I think we will be getting some variations of Unity coming pretty soon with all of this. Since this is going to be like a software as a service thing, it means there might be a version of Unity that will take advantage of all of these tools that we've just looked at, and we can tie them together with Maya and Houdini. And they are already saying things like that there, all right? So if you read down here, so they're looking at ways that this is going to create a small universe, a small ecosystem of its own. And you know, this thing comes with its own territory of thoughts, in the sense that as maybe you own a company or something, this is a good thing. It makes so much sense to know that your clients or, you know, the users can be anywhere. They can be on their iPad, they can be on their Android device, they can be on the Chromebook, anywhere in the world. As far as they're connected to the internet, they can just simply go on the web. They don't need to think about, you know, performance of the computer or, you know, of the iPad or, you know, of the device they're working with. They can just go on the web, open Maya on their iPad, go on the web, open Houdini on their Android device, create stuff, create their games on their Chromebook, and it just makes sense. It is a very interesting, welcomed idea. And like I said, it has its own territory of thoughts. The whole metaverse now simply means that you need internet 24/7 to put out content based off the fact that you have your Maya, your Houdini, your Unity, and, you know, potentially so many other tools on the internet. Metaverse software as a service has never been a bad idea. I actually don't see it as a bad idea. I see it as a leap forward in content creation. I am just a bit worried in the sense that most people would want to get their softwares on your desktop. You know, sometimes you just don't want to be on the internet. You just need your software on your desktop. You want to open it, you want to work on that. But there's always a trade-off for things like this, all right? If the software as a service is coming, it means that all the resources you need in terms of performance resources, it's going to be based on the internet. So you don't really need all that. But if you need your software on the desktop, then you might probably need to build those things. So, you know, like I said, it has its own territory of thoughts. You have to, you know, think left and right about it and make a good decision. But for sure, all these features are going to come over to Unity in a particular variant, and I think it has to do with them being tied with the Weta M and also the Weta H. And yeah, this is it is what it is, and it is very interesting. I love the idea that this is coming, and it is very wonderful what the folks at Unity and also Weta are doing. And of course, I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section. And for sure, if you'd like to take a look at all of this, links to this is definitely going to be in the description, so you can do well and check it out. And of course, if you like this video or you learned something from this, you can go ahead and give it a like, and don't forget to share with a friend. And until I see you guys in the next one, peace.